from Alpaca Direct, and I'm here at home. I'm so glad to be home. I hope that you all had a safe and wonderful holiday. We were able to take our motorhome and go to some wineries in Walla Walla, Washington, and we also were able to see a ton of apple trees there. I guess they're known for apples as well, and it was so awesome. And anyways, so you guys let us know where you've been and what you're doing. And also this week we are going to be entering, the prize for this week is going to be Kenzie. And I just chose this yarn just out of the blue because it's my favorite colorway. It's called Rapaho, and it is Kenzie's a wonderful wool blend yarn, and very top quality. So whoever wins today will be getting these two beautiful skeins. And the way that you win is you post comments in the comments section. Let us know what you're working on. Maybe let us know where you're from and what you're enjoying. If you have any questions at all, you can go ahead and answer. I'll be happy to answer questions for you, and you can ask them, and I'll see what I can do to help you with that. And if you like what you see, you can also share it with your friends so that they can enjoy it too, and we can learn from each other. So that sounds great. This last week's winner, she won some Sueno, and I wanted to show this to you because the Sueno is a new yarn, and it's by Haiku, and this is a super nice 80-20 blend of merino and bamboo. And I've already done a project with it. As I said before, I try all the yarns before I bring them in, and if they're not absolutely top quality, we don't bring them in. So this yarn is totally beautiful. And I knit this traveling cable beanie, which is a free pattern on our website, alpacadirect.com. And you can see the stitch definition on this Sueno is absolutely fabulous. And this has been washed, so it doesn't have a whole lot of halo to it. Nice, wonderful, soft, squishy fabric that it makes. So if you get a chance to try this yarn, go ahead and try it. I do love it, and I think I'm going to be doing a pair of socks with it next. I just love the yarn so much. I think that wool and bamboo socks would be really nice, so I'm going to give that a go. So today what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about our Halloween projects and what I learned from the projects that I was working on this week. And let me just look at one project. In this first project, I looked for witches hats for kids, and I couldn't find a whole lot of patterns out there. And then I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what kind of, I just need to know how to do the brim. And then I went, oh, I can use a baby sun hat. I have this pattern, and I like the pattern. It has tons of projects on it, and it's called the Free Baby Stripy Sun Hat, and it's by Christine Grant, and it's on Ravelry, and you can find it there free. And so I used that outline, that idea that she used for her hat to make my hat. She knit her project flat, and I decided, of course, that I'll do mine in the round so that I don't have to sew up the back of my hat. But here's my little witch's hat that I did, and it's kind of a kid's hat, and it's using the Lamb's Pride Bulky, and I used, I think, a 10.5 needle, and I cast on 91 stitches, and then the brim, you cast on 91 stitches, and it's knit 11, knit 2 together, and then knit the next round and knit 10, knit 2 together, and so on and so forth until you get to knit 6, knit 2 together. And then I had the stitch count correct for my hat. I did 1 purl row to make this purl edge here, 4 rows of knit, 5 rows of seed stitch, and then I decreased as you would for a normal hat. The only difference that I did is I was at knit 6, knit 2 together down here, so I did knit 5, knit 2 together down here when I got up to the top, but I did 4 knit rows in between each decrease, and that makes that nice cone shape that you see. So you don't really need a pattern for some of these projects, and you absolutely do not need to look up patterns that are specifically for Halloween, because you just find your favorite hat, brim of a hat that you enjoy knitting, and you knit that brim, and then you just make the cone shape by doing the decreases with 4 knit rounds in between each decrease instead of 1 like you would do for a normal stocking hat. So you don't have to look up the projects that are for Halloween per se. The next thing that I learned is you don't have to use the same weight of yarn. Is there a question, Jim?
Yeah, well, just a few people said hi. Helen
Hello,
says hi.
good morning.
And Debbie Doctor said she liked her hat.
Hi, Debbie. I'm so glad that you're working on your gifts for Christmas already. You're the bomb. That's awesome. That's totally cool. Your family members are going to love you for that. So, and also you're going to love it when you get around the holidays and you're needing to do all that baking. You won't have to jam in a bunch of knitting and crocheting or what have you on top of that. So that is a double plus in my book. Getting ready early always decreases our stress level.
Helen says she likes certain things about Halloween.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. When our kids were little, I mean, I don't know if the premise of the whole Halloween thing is, you know, I don't go into that with our kids when they were little. I didn't go into that with them. But what I did do is I made costumes for them. And I remember when our son Brandon was little and Barney was all the rage, I literally, you know, made a costume out of paper bags and sewed it all together. And he had the big long green tail with purple spikes, and I stuffed it all, and it was really darling. And so I always enjoyed doing those Halloween costumes for them, and I never would buy one. I would always make them, and I would make them starting in May. Usually by June or July I was done with the Halloween costumes, and then they would just be ready for Halloween. And I know that our neighbors across the street, they obviously have gone to Costco and gone shopping for their Halloween costumes, because one of them has a firefighter and the other one's what, Jim? A police officer or something? Yeah, and they're running around the yard and they're so excited about life, and it's just really cool to see. You know, I think it kind of encourages them when they grow up. They're like, I want to be a police officer, I want to be a firefighter, and so it's pretty cool. I think it's a great thing. And so when my kids were little, they would go trick-or-treating, and I'd let them have candy for a few days, and then we'd donate the rest of the candy to, you know, maybe an old folks home or somewhere like that where they enjoy the sweets, and then our kids don't get overloaded with too much sugar. Don't want them getting cavities or anything. So also, when I was doing these projects this week, the first thing I did is went into my stash that I have, and I looked at what yarns I already had. So if you look right here, now these two I purchased, but all these other colors right here are yarns that I already had at home. So that is so cool. And you remember I was telling you that you can use different weights of yarn and knit them at the very same time and have a project that looks beautiful. Now this little pumpkin that I did, it has a worsted weight yarn for the leaves and for the stem on top, and it has bulky weight yarn on the bottom, and the bottom I did with 10.5 needle. And then when I got up to the stem area, I went ahead and used a number 7 needle, and I knit right off that 10.5 inch needle right onto the number 7. And these were already done. I did put these on after. And these little leaf pattern, oh my gosh, if you guys need to do any leaves at all, I would totally recommend that you get it. And I'm looking here on my, it's called Just a Leaf by Hinky, which is a free pattern on Ravelry. And what's good about this leaf pattern is you can make your leaves smaller or bigger just by varying the amount of increases. It's a yarn over, and then the knit one is in the center, another yarn over. But if you do less yarn overs, you get a smaller leaf, and you get more yarn overs, you get a bigger leaf. And so I just made different kinds of leaves. And do you see the back side of the leaf and the front side of the leaf look beautiful? And the I-cord is done first, and then you cast on some extra stitches for the leaf. But that's a free pattern on Ravelry, and I would highly recommend that leaf pattern. I think it's so adorable. And also, if you look at this little pumpkin that I did, I took my tail, and instead of just weaving in ends, what I did is I did duplicate stitch around some of the stitches around the bottom of the stem to make it look more authentic, and I just thought it made it look cute. Also, another thing that I learned, this stuffing, when you put in the polyfill, you have to fill it with just small amounts to keep it from getting lumpy, your project from getting lumpy. Also, don't do what I did on this little tiny one. Okay, so I'm type A, so I stuffed the daylights out of it, and it almost turned into a ball instead of a pumpkin. So be careful not to do that. I was also telling Jim that maybe on the bottom you don't close it up until you're really sure of you know, if you like the amount of stuffing. This one I didn't stuff very much at all, and I kind of like it better that way. Also, with this pumpkin pattern, there were a few pumpkin patterns out there. Some of them were paid for, but I felt like they weren't worth paying for. I think that if you just cast on 10 stitches and you go knit front and back across, you know, all the stitches, and then you knit a row in between, and then you go knit front and back again until you get as many stitches on there as you want, and then you just knit around and around and around until your pumpkin, the length of the pumpkin from top to bottom, is a little longer than it is wide. And that's what I did, and it turned out cute. So you can make it whatever shape that you want, but just to go ahead and cast on 10 stitches and then do that knit front and back across the whole round, and then a knit round, and then a knit front and back, and then a knit round, and then just straight knitting. Or you could increase again and make it a little bigger. If you wanted a great big pumpkin, you could just keep going. So, and then seaming up the hole on the bottom. When you start with 10 stitches, you have almost, it takes like 30 seconds to go ahead and pull that together. And so that is not even worth using a provisional cast on, so you can decrease it again and bind off. It's not worth it. Just go ahead and pull those stitches together, you know, and pull it tight. And it took me less than 30 seconds or so to get that fixed on the bottom. So that was great. Let's see, and those leaves were fantastic. And so a couple of the pumpkin patterns that I liked on Ravelry, this is called the Itty Bitty Pumpkin Pattern. And what I liked about it is she just cast on like 40 stitches and just made almost a square. And then what she did is she took her long tail that she used and took the string of yarn and just made these creases by bringing your needle up through the center and then dropping it down, and she's going around all like maybe 5 different sides and making them as even as possible. And then she made that really cute pumpkin by doing it that way. So I thought that was a very clever idea. And this one is a free pattern on Ravelry as well, and that one was really cute, and it's called the Itty Bitty Pumpkin Pattern. And yeah, it was darling, really darling, free on Ravelry. And also this, what I thought was interesting about this pumpkin pattern, it was a baby hat, and she used, see this little swirly thing here? The way they do that is they cast on a number of stitches and then bind off immediately, and it just makes it wind into a little curlicue. And so I thought that was cute for decorations on different fall projects that you're using. And just the idea that you can take your favorite baby hat and you can go ahead and knit whatever that baby hat is out of an orange colored yarn, for instance, and put your little stem on top. And it's gone from being a regular baby hat that you would wear, you know, a neutral one, to a holiday one just by changing the color of yarn. So I thought that was pretty cool that you could do that. And then these socks, these are little pumpkin socks. And I think this is going to be my next project for my Fish Lips Kiss heel. You remember last week I was working on that Fish Lips Kiss heel, and I told you how wonderful it was, and that heel can be knit with any number of stitches, so you don't have to worry, is it 56 or 62 or 64, it doesn't matter. On that pattern you can use any number of stitches, so I would highly recommend that you look at that Fish Lips Kiss heel, because it was an excellent heel for socks. And I'm learning it, and I told you before that when I first learn new skills, I do it in sets of 3. So I'll do 3 different patterns where I do the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and then by the end of the 3rd pattern I really have the idea behind what they're doing, and I'll be able to do it effortlessly. And that's how I memorize these different skills, is by doing sets of 3. So this week I'm going to be working on this one, and I already finished my last week's, and I'll show it to you. I just had to weave in a couple ends and block it, so I wasn't able to bring it today. But these are little pumpkins, and I thought it was really darling. And I was going to use this leftover, this is sock yarn, and it is by Malabrigo sock yarn. So I was going to go ahead and use that yarn. I was doing something else with it, but I decided I'm going to use these socks make the socks with it. So, oh, also, I thought it was worth it today to look at these pom-pom makers. Now, if you make pom-poms at the top of your hat, a lot of people use cardboard, right? Well, these are little pom-pom makers. They have the medium and large, and then they have a smaller one that looks like that. They have all different sizes of pom-pom makers. And we sell these on Alpaca Direct. And they're pretty cool. They really, really help you make really cute pom-poms. And Tara has made these for us out of scrap yarns. And I just thought they were so cute that I wanted to show them to you. And the pom-pom maker is great fun. It holds all the yarn in place and allows you to secure the yarn really nicely and make it into a pom-pom. So if there are any of you out there that like making pom-poms, these little pom-pom makers by Knitter's Pride are a wonderful little tool to have in your toolbox. So I wanted to show those to you.
Suzanne says those are the best pom-pom makers. She has them.
Oh, you like them too? Oh yes, I have some at home too. I don't put pom-poms very often on the top of my hats and what have you, but for kids' hats and stuff, it's darling, and so it's a great thing to do, and I think it's pretty popular nowadays. Those pom-poms are pretty popular. Also, I wanted to tell you that these little pumpkins that I've made are knit with this Lamb's Pride Bulky. And this is a wonderful yarn you can use it for felting. It's also nice for just, knitting those little pumpkins and what have you. And it's a super nice yarn by Lamb's Pride. And it's 85% wool and 15% mohair. So you do get a little tiny bit of halo with it. But it's fabulous yarn, very easy to work with. And they also make it in a worsted weight, and we carry that one as well. Very economically priced yarn. Really lovely, and a lot of people just love that. Also, if you are wanting to get entered to win prizes, and all you have to do is you have to post comments in the comment section, let us know what you're working on, and then you'll be entered to win. And make sure to post photos if you can, and let us know show us your actual projects, because oh my goodness, there are some very talented knitters who share with us, and we enjoy those lovely projects. They're just gorgeous. Some of them, I can't believe it. You guys are so talented. Anyways, the Sueno here is 80/20. It's merino and bamboo. It does have a really nice tight twist on it, but that's nice because it means it won't shed so much. And when you knit it up, it's perfectly soft. It's amazingly beautiful. So I love this yarn. Also, I wanted to tell you that Michelle Hunter is going to be doing a knit along coming up in October. So if you can look on her website and get the rest of the information about it, it is going to be using this wonderful Sueno, and we do carry it at Alpaca Direct. So go ahead and look at Michelle Hunter's knit along. It's free to the public. It is going to be something that teaches you about sweater construction, but it's not actually a sweater. I think it might be poncho-esque. So you take a look at that, and on the knit-alongs, they don't ever tell you exactly what it's going to be, but she does a great job of teaching us new skills, and this yarn will be lovely. So I'm looking forward to doing that knit-along. I'll be doing that one as well, so we can share as we go along together. And we also had done, not too long ago, the concentric cowl, which was called Transient, and that is a pattern that is sold on, is it sold on our website, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sold on Alpaca Direct, and that was a great project, and we learned a lot with that. That was a nice shawl that she did. And so make sure that you look for that on the website, because it'll be coming up. And I wanted to tell you who our winner was today, and I have it written down here, and it is Diana McCullough. And Diana, you won this Sueno, and so you need to let us know your shipping address, and we'll get it in the mail to you, and you can let us know how you like the Sueno and maybe what you made with it, so we can get new ideas, because this is a new yarn by Haiku or Skacel, and then we can get ideas for this yarn from you too. So that'll be great, and that is Diana McCullough. So congratulations, and hope you enjoy knitting with this yarn. That's great. And for the person who's going to be entered today, they have a chance to win this Kenzie, and it's my favorite colorway. It's called Rapaho, and it's 1022. And I thought 2 skeins would be nice for, I don't know what you want to do with it, but it sure is pretty. I like this yarn. So I thought you would enjoy it.
There's a question, what would you normally make with that?
With what?
The Kenzie.
Kenzie, oh my gosh. Okay, so Kenzie, I've done fingerless mitts, I've done hats, I've done baby hat and booties with it. I've done all kinds of stuff with it. It is fabulous. It just, the little speckles in it are just beautiful. So you could even do a cowl out of it. You could even do slippers out of it. I mean, it's kind of endless. It has 50% merino, 10% Angora, 25% nylon, 10% alpaca, and 5% silk. So you could even do socks of it. Do a little slipper sock or something like that. But the yarn is really nicely plied. It's very durable. It's soft. I mean, I don't think there's anything that you couldn't do with it. So you go ahead and share with your friends if you like our Facebook post that we're doing today, and let us know what you're all working on. So we learned today that you don't have to have holiday specific projects. You can take your favorite sun hat and actually turn it into a little witch's hat like I did here. And you don't have to pay for the little pumpkins. All you have to do is cast on 10 stitches and knit front and back, and then follow it by a knit row. And do that a couple of times, and then make sure that it's as long as it is wide, and then start those same decreases that you did on there. It would be knit 2 together and a knit row, and then a knit 2 together and a knit row, and then you would be ready to do your stem. So these are cute little projects that you can make, super, super easy. And these little leaves by Heineke they're free on Ravelry, and they're double-sided. Just beautiful, knit in the round, super easy to do, and you can make them bigger or smaller by adjusting how many increases or decreases you do. Actually, this was done with increases, which was a yarn over, knit 1, yarn over. And so if you do less increases, your leaf is going to be smaller, and if you do more increases, it's going to be larger. So that was pretty cool. And also that we could use our tails of our yarn and actually duplicate stitch around the edge to add a little I don't know, I think it makes the stems look cuter. It makes them look more authentic and just darling, actually. So, and that's a great way to weave in your ends too, because when you're done you don't have any ends to weave in. So that was pretty cool. So I had fun this week working on my Halloween projects. I hope all of you get a chance to make a few things for your family, and it'll be coming up before you know it. So you guys have a great week, and this next week we're going to talk about our favorite fun fall projects. And I will be talking about a few things that I'm going to be making for Thanksgiving, and maybe what I learned from those, and any tips that I get along the way, I'll be sharing those with you. So you guys have a great week. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Make sure to tell us what you're working on and post comments in the comment section so you can be entered to win this lovely Kenzie. And then we will see you in a week. So you guys have a great week, and we will see you soon.